Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. Live Edition. I'm Ashley here, as always, with my incredible co-host Gian, and we're here on a Tuesday night, a little later than normal, but really excited because we got a big game happening tomorrow that we cannot wait to talk about. Before we get into that and plenty of other Inter Miami and Messi news, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling great. What's today? I don't even know what day it is. Is it
Tuesday?
Monday?
Oh
Is it
no, it's
Tuesday?
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. No, it's
It's,
Tuesday. It's Tuesday.
it's
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you. I am feeling I'm feeling absolutely great. Excited for the game tomorrow. Excited to see what this Inter Miami team does. Excited to talk about a bunch of news that's come out as of late. A lot of cool things to talk about on this show. But as always, just happy to be here with you, Ash, and happy to be here with chat, with everybody that follows us, with everybody that watches. So excited.
Oh yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. We're like really into the season. I mean, I know we've been saying that for the last 2 months, but tomorrow will be our first in person. Or I'm not sure if you're going. I'm going tomorrow night to the last uh game that's going to be held at Chase Stadium, Inter Miami Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. But it's my first time in person, obviously, since we won the MLS Cup. So it's been
You know what's
4
funny
months
about that?
almost.
You know what's funny about that? I could have sworn that last at the final when we
Mhm.
won the final, I could have sworn that that was the last game there, and I did an entire video saying bye to the stadium, only to realize after that
Mm.
there was like I did literally a whole thing. I think I even got teary eyed. Like I was just like
Oh.
thanking Fort Lauderdale Stadium for everything, and then I realized I'm like, you know what? There's actually another game going on. So, but you know what's interesting too? So a few friends of mine that are part of the supporters group, they went to do a stadium tour
Mhm.
of Freedom Park or Newbank Stadium. And they were saying, obviously, they're not by any means construction experts or anything remotely close to that.
Yeah.
The comment I kept getting was after they visited it in person and did the tour was there's no way this is going to be ready in time.
I had a feeling
There's
you were gonna say that,
no
yeah.
way. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, again, they're not construction experts, neither am I, but that does not look remotely close to ready. So I'm almost wondering, like, is it going to be a thing with like Barca and the Camp Nou where it wasn't 100% ready and maybe they only opened up sections of it and the whole stadium wasn't necessarily, available for seating?
Mm.
Because if not, I mean, if it's not opened in time, I mean, you already sold those tickets. Those tickets are
Yeah, no.
sold.
Oh, no,
Right?
it has to open. If it's gonna be done or not is a different, I think, question, but it will open on April 4th. That will be the first game.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I
not
just
to be
wanted to bring that
very
up since we were talking about stadiums. I
perfect.
thought it was some interesting comments there. So we'll see. I mean, it's what is it? A couple of weeks now out from the official debut,
Yeah,
something
what,
like that.
like 3 weeks maybe? Yeah.
No, yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
Crazy.
But it's cool that there's one last hurrah, I guess, at
Yeah,
Fort Lauderdale
exactly. I mean,
Stadium.
it'll be, certainly not as high stakes as the last match they played there, which was for the championship, but
Yeah.
still a very high stakes match against, a rival in an international tournament, scoreless. Very important. And we'll get to the game in a little bit. But before we sort of talk about Inter Miami and the news surrounding them, obviously it means we also want to talk about Messi and what Messi is experiencing right now outside of just the normal feelings about Inter Miami is that it looks like the Spain versus Argentina finalissima is canceled by UEFA, which is for those who don't know, it's a match played by the last winners of the World Cup and the Euros, which in this case was going to be Argentina and Spain, and it's a match that I think they were really looking, or maybe Copa America and the Euros is maybe what I meant. Uh, they all been looking forward to it, but due to obviously global issues happening right now, having matches in the Middle East is difficult, and it was initially going to be in Qatar. They knew they had to move it, and they couldn't agree on where to move it to, so it is canceled. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
just one quick okay, before my thought, one quick correction. It's the winners between Copa America and the Euros.
That's what I
Just
meant. I said Copa America, not the World Cup, because the World Cup in Italy was the last. I mean,
yeah,
Argentina
yeah.
and Italy was the last one. Yeah, I meant that. Copa, but yes.
Yeah, Copa America. So I mean, yeah, it's unfortunately the volatile kind of atmosphere around the Middle East is why it was canceled. It was supposed to be in Qatar, I believe, on March 27th in Lusail Stadium in Qatar.
Yeah,
And obviously things are not the best over there right now, so they didn't want to have to run any risks. And then they were trying to have negotiations, both sides,
right.
obviously, and Argentina were trying to have negotiations to see where if there were any alternative venues for them to go ahead and play the match. Spain was telling Argentina, let's go ahead and play at Bernabeu. Well, you guys want to go ahead and play where you guys are going to
Right.
have our stadium as a where you currently already play. Like, come on, guys. And Argentina was like, there's no way we're going to do that. You guys, this
Right.
is a game. I mean, it's again not the World Cup, but it is an official trophy that would have been added to the official international trophies that Messi would have had if he would have won it. So it is an important thing. Players want to win it. So by
Yep.
no, this is just a friendly. So Argentina was not having that. They're like, no, if you want to go ahead and play at Bernabeu, okay, let's play at Bernabeu, but we're going to do a home and away in this case. You'll have your game in Bernabeu, and we'll have our game in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, to which Spain said no. So, I mean, you
Right.
can't both ways. You got to give in and take. So, unfortunately, the two sides couldn't come to an agreement. It didn't work out. I think it kind of stinks. Again, just going back to what I said previously, that it would have been an international tournament, an official trophy that could have been added to the list for Messi to go ahead and win if if Argentina would have won. The other thing to it, really, if you think about it, is it's kind of like maybe a win in one way. It's a loss. Obviously, Messi would have wanted to play. He loves
Right.
Argentina. He wants to continue to win with them. It's a loss in the sense, I mean, a possible win in the sense that, hey, that would have been a lot of travel for Messi during Champions Cup
And an
season.
intense
Um,
match. Yeah.
exactly. So he would have had to travel if to Qatar, canceled. If they would have done it in Spain, would have had to travel there. They would have had to travel to Buenos Aires. It just would have been a lot. And again, it wouldn't have been a friendly where maybe he sees a few minutes or maybe it's a bit more relaxed.
Right.
This would have been a really competitive, as you said, Ash. So that's just kind of fares a bit better for Inter Miami that they're not going to be participating. But Argentina is still going to have to find an opponent. I mean, they can't just go into the World Cup without having any other games. So that's
Right.
kind of what's happening with that. But I think it's a win, honestly, for from a soccer standpoint, from a football fan standpoint, it kind of sucks. But from an Inter Miami standpoint, it's kind of a win. You keep Messi safe, and
Right.
and the ball too. He would have gone as well.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I think it's, hopefully they'll find some type of alternative or something. And like you said, Argentina will get a competitive match before the World Cup. But uh, for Messi, it's they're really taking care of him right now and his body and rest and preparing for what's going to be an arduous season. Um, and you saw that really for the first time, I think clearly, which was this past Saturday, where both Messi and DePaul uh, did not travel with the team and did not play at Charlotte, which was maybe a surprise to a lot of people. I expected I knew there would be some rotation. I did expect him to travel, both of them to travel and to play a little. Um, in the end, Mascherano, said that they've been traveling a lot, playing a lot. The game tomorrow is of the utmost importance, and they play on artificial turf. All those factors combined led to them not joining. So my question to you is, does that put a like a little worrying sign, or do you think that good, fine that it was a draw, wasn't the best game. We'll talk about the offensive struggles in a little bit, but this game tomorrow is much more important and we have a long season ahead of us. What's your thinking?
I was also surprised, honestly, surprised because I did think they were going to get at least some playing time, a lot of time, and I do a lot of comparisons to the European football. Like, I watch a lot of European football. I know you watch Tottenham a lot in the Premier League. I watch a lot of Premier League. I watch a lot of La Liga, and a lot of these teams are in similar circumstances as Inter Miami, where they do have midweek games, where they have Champions League games, right? Just like Champions Cup for Inter Miami. And what they usually do is the players they'll sit some. and some of the starters will actually end up getting minutes towards the latter half of the game. So you'll talk about like
Right.
maybe a Lamine Yamal, maybe a Rafinha in Barca, or the different players. They'll come in maybe with 20 minutes left just to make sure that they get some rhythm in them going into the next game. So that's kind of what I thought when I was thinking about Messi and Paul and those players. I was like, you know what? Maybe they're not going to get the 90 minutes. Maybe they'll start and come off that 60th minute. Maybe they'll come in the with 20 minutes left. It wasn't the case here. And I think it was for the best. At the end of the day, you want to protect those players. That's something that you talked about, I think, earlier in the season, and even before, when you were saying that there were going to be times where, thinking about World Cup, thinking about other tournaments, that you would not be surprised if Messi saw a lot of time being rested and that sort of thing. So you were right in that case, Ash. And one of the things that I heard, and I'm sure you heard it, was a lot of people complaining, as they did last season and the season before, saying that, you're going to a stadium with 40, 50, 60,000 people expecting to go see Messi. You pay the premium to see him. The tickets are expensive. And then you show up and you don't have the main attraction. And while I feel terrible for, the father that brought his kid, that Messi is his hero, and they brought out the whole family, people that made the 2, 3, 4 hour drive from wherever to go see him. I feel for those people. We are blessed to see him almost every weekend when we go to the games, at home games. So it's a special moment. So I think that for those fans, it is an unfortunate moment. But there are a lot of people that are very critical of Inter Miami and the fact that they didn't let anybody know that he was not going to play. They said that they waited an hour before to mention it, as if they were trying to pull a fast one. I just wanted to answer to that. And then
I know what you're gonna say. I feel the same. So say it. Yeah.
I want to hear what you say. I'm going to share my opinion, and I want to hear what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be shared. Look, that's something that's very unique, I think, to the American sports spectator. The entitlement to know who is going to play and who's not, because some of these people are the same people that watch the NBA, that watch the NFL. You talk about the NBA. There are requirements within the NBA. There's an injury report. You have to divulge who is injured, why they're injured, and if they're going to be available to play prior to the game, not an hour before. There's a time limit, and fans typically will know, hey, I'm not going to the Heat today because I know that Jimmy Butler is not going to play when he was on the team, or Bam isn't going to play. That's not the case with MLS. MLS has zero requirement to submit an injury report before any game. So I think that if anybody has beef, it's not and should not be directed to Inter Miami. It should be directed to MLS. If that's what you truly think, that there should be an injury report and that the teams need to divulge who will play and who will not play. So that's one of my stances on that. The other part is, how can you expect a team that doesn't have the requirement to announce injuries to give the competitor an advantage in knowing who and what their lineup is going to be? That doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. You don't have Barca telling people, hey, tomorrow Lamine isn't playing. Hey, tomorrow, Rafinha isn't playing. Or Arsenal, hey, Declan Rice isn't playing tomorrow. Like, those are things that just don't happen. And it'd be ridiculous if you tell the team, get ready to play this type of team. This is our strategy. This is who we're playing. It just doesn't happen. So I think that for me, we have to be realistic and understand what really is going on before kind of, getting mad and telling Inter Miami that they're trying to pass one over everybody's heads. I think that that's important to note. So, that's what I think. What do you think?
I agree with you on both points. I'd say specifically, I agree. The main point, the main thing is competitive advantage. This is sports, in every sport, within American sports too. Like you said, the injury report, but sometimes the teams have a lot of leeway with what they actually put, what they don't put. There were many times we didn't know if Jimmy Butler was going to play until a few hours before match, and that's as a fan, could be frustrating. As someone traveling, it happened all the time with LeBron James when he was, over the last 10 years, happened the last 15 years. And you have to remember, he was in 8 NBA finals in a row, like 8. So he basically played straight for 8 years as the best in the world. And so they sometimes had to rest him, and fans at opposing places would get angry. Same happens here with Messi. Here's the truth. It doesn't happen in the NFL because there's only 16 games, and you really can't afford to unless it's a serious injury that happened. But it's a competitive advantage. I can't tell you who I'm not going to tell you how to game plan to play against me, and that's the start and end of it. It surprised us, but okay. I don't want my team. I'm glad Charlotte didn't know until a little before, because I'm sure they were game planning for Messi and they had to change things up. And with Rodrigo de Paul too. So we're lucky because he's out. He plays for our team. But I've seen it in sports everywhere. It's part of sports. It's part of competitive advantages, competition, strategy, all those things, right?
No, 100%. And I wanted to touch on one more thing before we move on to the next topic real quick. Talking about
Mhm.
Messi and the ball out. We're talking obviously against about the Charlotte game, and I wanted to kind of talk about something that I was seeing a lot online, which is the fact that people were saying a heavily rotated squad. That was something that was
Mhm.
that terminology was used a lot. A heavily rotated squad, but they're using it in the sense of this team shouldn't win this match. They were a heavily rotated squad. This team was undermanned. This team was um, the 0-0 was an amazing result for a heavily rotated squad. And what I want to speak to is while it was heavily rotated in that a lot of the players that started against Nashville in Champions Cup were sitting, the team, in my eyes, could have won this game, should have won this game, had the ability to win this game. And it's a team that I think was still competitive. You and I talked about this a lot before the season started when we were seeing all these transactions being done and these players being brought in, that
Mhm.
this team was going to have to fight on multiple fronts. They were going to have
Right.
to fight at Champions Cup. They would have to fight in league play. They were going to have Leagues Cup. They were going to have multiple tournaments where they were going to have to field different teams, knowing that they had to stay competitive. They couldn't have throwaway games. This is a season where they said they're going to try to win it all. They're going
Yeah.
to try to. Now, Champions Cup is number one, but they want to win league. They want to win Champions Cup. They want to win Leagues Cup. They brought in the players that they brought in to be able to field two different teams that are always going to be competitive. So to me, I never understood or saw this game as this is a team that shouldn't win against Charlotte. This is a team that a 0-0 is an amazing result. I think it was an
Right.
okay result, but I think they had the ability to win. And I tweeted this, and I just wanted to talk about it really quick. I talked about the players and the players that were on there. So here we go. The starters: Rocco Rios Novo, the 2025 MLS Cup winner. Come on,
Have it
that's
here.
an,
Let's
an,
talk
an
about him
amazing.
before we talk about anyone else.
Yeah. So right before we go, Ian Frey, he started. He's just starting. Basically, you're starting right back.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes but he's a starting right back. Lujan, 2025 starting center back. He was the center back that started the most games in 2025. Noah Allen, your starting center back, left back. Reillon came back finally from injury, is supposed to be your starting left back. You had Ayala in the game, who was a starting midfielder for Portland in 2025. You had David Ruiz, who was an Honduran international player. Silvetti, who's your starter. Suarez speaks for himself. Come on. Then you had a
Yeah.
couple of mixed in players in there from the academy, but dude, that's a really good, that's a pretty good team, a competitive team. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Rocco.
Yeah, I mean, but really quick, yeah, Reguilon was great to see. Ayala, I thought played well. 100%, like, while we're gonna get into the offensive struggles and issues like that, it was great for Inter Miami to get some of these players in because you're right, when everyone is available, Reguilon, you expect to start, and then Ayala, well, right now, Yannick Bright is playing out of his absolute mind, so I'm not 100% sure, but, Ayala's certainly in the mix, and so it was important. Someone who probably won't be in the mix as much unless it's a complete rest day is gonna be Rocco because obviously Dane St. Clair is the number 1 starting goalkeeper for Inter Miami. I'd say has played really well in the last 2 games after a shaky start, but Rocco doing his job and showing that he is still elite. He was just someone who won an MLS Cup, Excuse me. And he was the reason that Charlotte, they got a clean sheet and an important point on the road. So he deserves a shout out big time.
Yeah, and I know there's gonna be there's debates about it. Is it St. Clair? Is it Rocco Rios Novo? Who should have been starting? I've seen a lot of chatter online about that. And look, I'm one of the ones that said when we were talking about that, when it was just announced, about how I was surprised that they had brought in or tried to bring in another
Yeah.
starting caliber goalkeeper when you had Rocco Rios Novo, who played very well, who won you the MLS Cup. I mean, what more do you like? If I'm Rocco Rios Novo, I'm like, what the hell else am I supposed to do to earn a spot on this team as a
Yeah.
starter after everything I did in the MLS Cup? So,
Yeah, it's
for
true.
me to see him be the goalkeeper of the match day, I think is amazing. It's a testament to his hard work. I think he does great.
An
He
attitude,
faced
good
five
attitude. Yeah.
great attitude, very skilled. He faced 5 shots and had 5 saves. 1 from outside the box. It was a set piece. 4 from inside the box. I mean, just an absolutely great game all around for Rocco Rios Novo. And I think that, look, again, going back to what I said a moment ago, when you face different, when you're playing in different tournaments, to be able to have a starting goalkeeper, no matter what, starting caliber goalkeeper, I think is amazing for this team, and you can feel safe having Rocco Rios Novo in front of the net.
100%. Yeah, agreed. Something I will say, which was a blow to the team, was Maxi Falcone getting injured. Obviously, it happened during the Nashville game, but not something that we wanted to see. Had been a rock of this defense. Hopefully, it won't be too long term. So it's kind of like you got a gift in that we have Regulon back, but at the same time, you then have Maxi Falcone go down. So we wish him speedy recovery. Let's talk about the other side of the pitch though, because that was good what Rocco Rios Novo did. However, Inter Miami remains scoreless in 2 straight matches. Obviously, the Nashville match where we talked about, I swear, I texted this to you. I think there was magnetic force fields on those goals, preventing either team from scoring because the game should have been like 6-4 or something. There were so many goals that should have been scored that it's just crazy in the end that none were. And then in Charlotte, it was a chess game really that was I think overall important. And in the end, both results can work in Miami's favor. Obviously, tomorrow, super important game we're going to talk about, but Inter Miami have now obviously the home field advantage. It's 0-0. With everything to play for to advance, and then getting a point on the road in MLS, when you have two of your 2 best players, one of the best players in the world not play, you'll take. But it still makes me nervous talking about just the scorelessness of Inter Miami, where it's now what, like out of 10 halves or something, they were only scored in 2 or something, right? Like it's a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. It's definitely concerning. I think earlier on, it was, it's still early in the season. It's still early in the season. And while objectively it still is early in the season, it's not early in the Champions Cup season. You're
Not
already in
anymore,
games.
yeah.
You're literally facing an elimination game tomorrow. And as you said, I believe that we've only scored in 2 halves this early season so far. It was the half in the second half against Orlando where we scored 4 goals, and then it was the first half of was it the
DC,
DC
yeah.
United game where we scored, I think it was 2 goals. Other than that, it's we've been held scoreless 2 games in a row, and out of the 10 or so halves, we've only scored twice. I mean, that's really concerning, especially when you have Messi on the team. You have the ball playing at an absolutely all-star level right now. You have Silvetti that looks, I mean, when the ball is at his feet, it's magic. He's just doing amazing. You have Tadeo Allende on there, the one that the player with the most goals in MLS Cup history, playoff history. And then on top of that, you have your shiny new toy, Berterame, the Mexican forward that scored the most goals in Liga MX in 2025, who you paid a ton for and who's taken up your DP spot. That's a concern. That's a legitimate concern.
Yeah.
And I mean, this team continues to dominate on possession. I mean, the 59% against Nashville, 55% against Charlotte. the problem is not having the ball. The problem is, what are they going to do when they have the ball? And it seems like they just can't find the formula to make
Yeah.
all these great attacking assets that they have work together and look good.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate, you know. Again, Silvetti, Allende, Berterame, De Paul, Messi. How the hell is a team only scoring in two halves with that type of arsenal? It's just incredible, honestly. And I think that, you know, the talent is on there. It's on paper. It's up to Macherano to make to figure it out. And look, it was his choice to deviate from what worked for him in MLS Cup, where it was Silvetti, Allende, and Messi. So he has a responsibility to figure it out, since he's the one that changed something, to change a winning formula. So I hope that he's able to do that, because it's win or go home tomorrow. And Nashville's not an easy team, as we saw.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I
it
mean, I don't
shouldn't
want to
be.
get ahead of myself, because I know we're gonna finish with the Champions Cup, and this is gonna probably lead right into it. But yeah, this team needs to figure it out. Berterame has to figure it out as well. Berterame has had chances where he was in
Yeah.
front of the goal and he didn't finish. Seems awfully familiar, right? The Allende story that we had last season. So the Allende
Yeah.
story ended up working out at the end. Hopefully we don't have to wait till the end for the Berterame story to flourish, and hopefully it ends they figure it out quicker than later.
100%. And I mean, hopefully it starts flourishing as soon as tomorrow, because there's a lot to say about this Champions Cup second leg versus Nashville. We have here specifically Messi, DePaul, and Silvetti, but can also Tadeo Allende, Bertarame, Segovia, right? Can they all, Mura, hopefully Regulon, how can all of those players be able to create more interest and attack and danger when trying to score? Because it obviously, I think these three have not really been a problem for the team, but can they lift everyone else and get everyone else to be on the same page as them? That's really the question. And they're gonna have to figure it out tomorrow, because this is not an MLS regular season match, where you sometimes can be with like a point and you're okay. This is do or die, to advance into a tournament that I think as fans and in the, soccer community are expecting Inter Miami to, at the very least, make it to semifinals, finals, win. Um, being eliminated in round of 16 would be absolutely unacceptable. And so the team is being given a golden opportunity to fix the problem now in a high stakes situation, and be able to get everyone on the same page so that we can start seeing more consistency with this attack.
Consistency is what it's about. It's not having one half against Orlando where the team was able to
Yeah.
score 4 goals and then look like a completely different attacking team. Scoring 2 in the first half against DC United and then not scoring for another 2 games. That's not consistency. You need to be consistent to be able to win, to be able to get to what they want to do, which is have multiple trophies this season. So you said it perfectly right there. I mean, it starts at the top, the attack. Look, I think a lot of the conversation over the last season, 2 seasons, has been Inter Miami's defense. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, I would say Miami's defense has been pretty good. There have been a few goals that, have been lapses, but I think that's always going to happen. But there were some goals that were not necessarily the defense's fault. They were just silly giveaways or
Yeah.
losing possession in precarious positions on your half of the field. I mean, how much of that is going to be on the defense? So I think a lot of times the defense has been doing good. They've done a great job. Maxi Falcon, I think, has been phenomenal. Again, unfortunately injured right now. Hopefully makes a speedy return. Mikael has absolutely
Mikael
blown
has
it out of
been
the park.
great.
He's been
Yeah.
playing amazing. I think Noah Allen has done a great job of filling in at that left back position, waiting for Reguilon to get back. You don't get that much on offense with Noah, but I think you feel good from a defensive perspective. You have Facundo Mura at that right side. I think has had some issues handling the ball, but on the defensive end, he hasn't been that bad. So that's a battle between him and Ian Frey. But the talk of the town, the issue here has been the offense. And it starts with Berterame, as we were saying in the previous
Yep.
segment. Berterame, 0 shots on target against Nashville. How the hell are you going to score and beat Nashville if Berterame is getting 0 shots on target in a game, in a Champions Cup game. That's going to have to change tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale I don't even think it's called Chase Stadium anymore. I don't even know what it's
I
called.
think it's just
But
called
that's
Inter
going to have
Miami
to.
Stadium, yeah.
So that's going to have to change. Berterame is going to have to try to figure out. Macerano is going to try to have to figure it out. And I think part of that too is Berterame played differently when he played in Mexico. It was a different team, a different scheme, a different strategy. I feel like Berterame and Messi still aren't on the same page, but the others are. And Silvetti has to continue to do what he's doing, create chances. Silvetti, and that's why. And I'm the one that came up with this title and put Messi, De Paul, and Silvetti. I'll take the ownership of that. Why? Because I think those guys have been the most consistent. You were talking about consistency,
Yep.
Ash. I think those three have been the most consistent, right? Tadeo Allende is not the Allende of 2025 yet. He's battled injuries. He's trying to come back. He's trying to find his form on the pitch. That I think that's going to take some time. But De Paul has been absolutely amazing. I think he's, if not one of the ones that runs the most on that field, that covers the most ground, that always has the ball at his feet. Along with Yannick Bright has been amazing. Messi's always Messi. Messi figures out a way to win. And then Silvetti, to me, I mean, he's just been phenomenal as well, which begs the question, if Tadeo Allende isn't at his best yet, do you start Silvetti and give Allende minutes in the second half versus this Nashville team? It all comes to offense. I really feel like from a defensive perspective, I feel okay. I think they did a good job of taking care of Sam Surge last game. I think they did a good job against Hani Mukhtar.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that they're gonna have to be top notch, that team. Inter Miami's defense against this Nashville team, because they got a lot of power and attack. But home field advantage, Ash. You said it. Home field advantage. The away goal is the scary part, but at the end of the day, the away goal only counts if you don't win, and you got to win. That's what's important here. Who cares by how many? You got to win. You're at home. Home field advantage. It's what it's all about. You always want to define a leg in your home, and Inter Miami has a chance to do that tomorrow, and I have the confidence that they'll be able to do it.
Yeah, I hope so. I agree. I think they certainly can, and they've shown glimpses of it. They just haven't been able to put it together for a full 90 minutes, and we haven't seen those final parts put into getting the ball across the line. Bertarame has had a couple good plays, good assists, good moments, but it has not translated into goals, and we need that. This interesting by GP20 Rock. I wanted to get to it, which is that thinks the stadium will be done in April. I guess we'll all find out. But it will be interesting if they host any more Champions Cup game if Inter Miami advances. I guess we'll find out. Right now, it can't look too much ahead, because tomorrow's game is gonna be a huge moment in defining, the beginning of the season, and how is this team gonna be able to match what they put out last year, and opening a new stadium, having these new deals, these new big time players, big everything. It needs to show up on the field, and so I think Messi, DePaul, Silvetti, a lot of players are doing their part. Young Bright, like we said, been excellent. It's just now, you know, will Bertaran maybe be able to kind of get that final foot in, and get some goals and make a big difference? Will Allende get his feet under him? Will Silvetti or Segovia, etc., be able to provide the spark and be able to be creating more chances than just Messi alone? Those are all things that we hope to see, and tomorrow will be a big indication of that. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
No, yeah, I am nervous and excited as well. And I think one more thing I want to touch on about that game is I think that Inter Miami invested in bringing quality onto this bench. Talk about guys like David Ayala, for example. You still
Mhm.
have David Ruiz that
Luis
again plays
Suarez.
very well as well. Luis Suarez on there. Um, I feel like at times Macerano isn't making enough rotations, enough
Yeah.
substitutions, and I mean, I'd love to see how many substitutions he did against let's see, against Nashville. last game, he actually did. Who got substituted?
We had to do
Minute
Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon, then Silvetti for Telasco, minute 72, and Ian Frey for Facundo Mura. I mean,
You're
one was
leaving
for
2.
injury,
Yeah.
and 2 were for strategy. Maybe you try something else. I just feel like I'd like
Good
to
point.
see, like I don't understand why maybe David Ayala hasn't seen more time, right? Maybe now that he's been able to get more minutes, against this last game against Charlotte, maybe it was a fitness thing or something like that. I'd like to see some David Ayala minutes against Nashville if needed. If if for example you need more presence in attack, you can have David Ayala take the position of Yannick Bright, who still is going to be a presence in that midfield, but maybe give you a little bit more in attack. Those sorts of things. Maybe you play Silvetti and Allende at the same time. There's. I just feel like there's more that maybe Mascherano can do to adapt to the game. So let's hope that he does that and he adapts well to whatever Nashville brings tomorrow.
Agreed. I also think, I mean, honestly, I think at this point we should be seeing more Suarez minutes. I wouldn't even necessarily say to replace Bertarame, but yeah, in real time. Agreed. Yeah, he's not necessarily meshing, and the answer isn't just to not play him because he is who you spent a ton of money on and who is your number 9. But Suarez is still a threat, a firecracker, magnetized to the goal, an absolute competitor, all of those things. I would like to be seeing Suarez come in games, especially when it's scoreless or close, in like the 65th, 70th minute, and not even necessarily to replace Bertarame. He could play with Bertarame. I want to see more, to your point, using more of this bench so that you start to see some new things from Inter Miami, keep the other team on their toes, because it's right now everything is looking like the same, and you have your moments of brilliance from Messi, from DePaul, etc., so that you have those moments of brilliance that you can never account for and that will continue to happen. But there's other players who you can bring them in during the game and get that, like light that spark, and it could turn into goals and flipping a game on its head in moments. And I hope tomorrow, if it comes to a point where it's still scoreless or Inter Miami, not or have to score tomorrow. They're going to have to score at least 1 goal tomorrow, if not multiple. Play multiple threats to get there. Do what you have to do to get this team to win.
Yeah, 2 thoughts on that. Berterame, for me, it's part him, obviously, part his teammates, part Mascherano. When he tends to play right in between the 2 center backs, and usually you'll have either Tadeo Allende there or Telasco will be near him. When he plays more central, Inter Miami's not really getting the ball to him.
Right.
It forces him to play more wide. If you notice, a lot of the times he's far to the left when he's getting the ball, right? And at times he's far left, even when he's been able to steal the ball and he's been able to create chances for us by making passes from that left side. But I feel like most of the time he's more thrown to that left channel than that middle channel, which I feel like when he was at Monterrey last season, he was more playing down that middle where he saw more success. So that'll be interesting to see what that ends up looking like if he just sticks to playing more on that left side, if Inter Miami does a better job at finding him down the middle. The other thing I'll say is with Suarez, I think they're going to be very specific Suarez moments in the game. And when I talk about
all S's. Yeah.
Suarez situations, because Suarez can help you in attack. He can find chances out of nothing. And he brings a spark and an energy to the team, a fire that sometimes when the team can look lackadaisical, when they can just seem stoic, he can come in and light a fire and just make you want. Like he can take it to 4th or 5th gear for you, right? Yeah. We saw that against Charlotte, how that was the most fun 0-0 game I think I've ever seen Inter Miami play. Like it was literally like nonstop, like people, I don't know. It's just fiery. It was fiery. It was cool. So I like that. But the thing that you have to be careful, and that's why I say that there are very specific Suarez moments where you can actually have him on the field, is because we have to remember he doesn't defend
Right.
he doesn't defend as well as other players on the pitch. And when you have two players that don't defend, Messi and Suarez, that becomes an issue. And it's a
Right.
very clear distinction when you look at Berterame on the field. He's running all over the place. He
Yeah.
is pressing. He is, while Messi's staying up top, he's becoming part of that midfield at times and
Mhm.
helping cover up all the passing lanes. He's challenging. He steals the ball. We've seen again him assist off of stealing the ball. That's something that when you are, let's say a team is keeled over, they've parked the bus, and you're just, last 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that team is holding on for dear life, and you need to break that back line to score. That's a Suarez moment.
Right.
But if you have a team like Nashville that has Sam Surge, Henny Mukhtar, and that front three of theirs attacking you still to the very
Right.
end, damn, like even if you need a goal, I'm sorry, but you cannot put Suarez in that, because at that point you have one less person defending and things can get hairy there and it can get scary. So there's pros and cons to Suarez.
Yeah.
Very unique situations when you can play him, but when those unique situations arise, I'd love for him to see the field.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, we'll see if tomorrow is one of those. I hope Inter Miami um can be able to bring the spark and understand. I think you saw it in the second half against Orlando, um, for rivalry purposes, and Messi obviously got really riled up. They all flipped the switch and really started connecting and driving things home. Um, Outside of that, it's been kind of up and down. I think tomorrow, and hopefully they stay this way, is they understand it's do or die, and you see everybody turn a gear up, and because of that, it leads to not only, keeping possession, but being dangerous on the ball, and, I'm hopeful that they get the win and we continue, building up through this season and getting to, the real, you know, the meat and potatoes of this tournament, of all the tournaments, and hopefully the new stadium, which, is gonna be very exciting, but our eyes are focused on tomorrow. I can't wait to be back at a live Inter Miami game with such high stakes. I think it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, it'll be definitely a lot of fun. I can't wait for that new stadium. I can't wait for this team to figure out this attack. I mean, despite them having issues in attack, they are, where are they at right now in the standings? Are they, I think they're like third or something in the standings.
Yeah.
Let's you know it? I'm gonna double check it really quick
No,
here.
they're up there though, because I mean, it's even though we've had a lot of scoreless stuff, and I feel like a lot of moments have felt like
They're
losses, they only have 1.
they're third,
Yeah,
2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. They're third
yeah.
without this attack looking that good
Right, like,
yet.
what
So
can they become? Yeah.
exactly. Once they unlock it, I mean, they're 3 points away from NYC with 10 points and Inter Miami 7. So look, this team has a lot of potential. This team has a lot of upside. This is the ceiling is enormous right now. So it'll be up to these players and to Macherano to figure it out soon and hopefully sooner rather than later, again, because we're in mid Champions Cup. So I'm excited
Yep.
to see more of Inter Miami, and I honestly I can't wait for the next few weeks if this stadium ends up opening.
Yeah,
But
that'll be
yeah,
the next battle. It'll be fun. But yeah, I agree. Um, we'll be there, of course, every step of the way. Make sure you are following us on X at Messi and Co. And also, of course, YouTube 5 Reasons Football. Tomorrow we will be posting live content, breaking stories, minute to minute action of the match, and the aftermath of it. Uh, but it's exciting, and this season we're here, we're back, and we thank everyone for watching and tuning into this episode a little later in the week than normal. Next week, expect us to be back on our regular Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time schedule. But we just knew this game went tomorrow. The energy was going to be good. It's exciting. Yeah. So Boss Daddy said it. It's tomorrow or a few months of, I don't know about pointless, but I'll say it's an important game. It's an important game that we need to win, and we're really excited for it. So, any
let's
last thoughts?
let's let's say bye with our predictions. Let's
Okay.
say bye with our predictions. Really quick. Prediction. Score is Inter Miami wins 2-1. 2-1. It's
Mm.
gonna be a tight game because these are two really good teams. 2-1.
All right. Well, ever the optimist, I think Inter Miami are going to win 3-1. Same as
Three to
as as BD, I feel the same way. I think Inter Miami are going to turn on the Jets tomorrow, and we're gonna see 3 goals. Real deal Jets
Exciting.
deal.
3-1.
Leave it in the
Okay.
comments, even if you can't watch it right now and you're watching this episode a little later before tomorrow, leave in the comments, who you think is gonna score and, or rather the score of the game, and if you get scores right, we will shout you out on the next episode. But it's exciting.
Exactly.
I'm ready.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
ready.
Exciting,
So,
exciting.
yeah.
So make sure you guys like the video, hit the little thumbs up. It's free. The more thumbs up you get, the more people get to watch this. Algorithms, who the hell knows how it works? I just know you got to hit the little thumbs up button. So do that for us, guys. Like the video. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you're not subscribed. You got to
Yeah,
subscribe. So make sure
subscribe,
you
please. It
subscribe. That
helps
way
us.
you get our notifications, every time we're
Mhm.
online. So you guys can participate. So thank you all. This was fun. This was awesome. Vamos Inter Miami tomorrow. We're going to win 2-1, I say. 3-1 Ash, and you guys, it looks like 3-1 most of you. So
Yeah.
have a
Appreciate
great
you too. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody. All the people who are listening now, who are gonna listen later. We have a lot of I'm just really quickly, I'm gonna say it. Like, this is a really exciting summer of football coming up, and we are gonna be having a lot of content, a lot of games. Inter Miami, Messi, the world, lots to come. So make sure you are tuned in.
This I swear this is like a Latino goodbye where you say bye and then everybody follows you to the car and then you say bye to all your tias and your tios and then you get in the
Yeah.
car and then they go up to the window and they talk to you a little bit more before you say bye. We said bye about 10 minutes ago.
No, this is it. This is it. Okay. Thank you for watching this episode of Messi and Co. I'm Ashley. That is Gian, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.